What's up, guys? It's Mike from the DCXP. I'm joined by my brother Joe and Savannah. Um, yeah, uh, big news out of DC, and it's not to fly on Mike Pence's head, which was all over Twitter. But we were having a pretty straightforward pod. We were going to talk about the Rams game. We were going to talk about how Haskins might get it together. Nope, crumble that up, put it in a ship, send it to the moon. Haskins is benched. Kyle Allen's season is upon us. We have thoughts. Our listeners have thoughts, which we'll share and read off. So how did you guys find out about the news?
Savannah, do you want to go first or should I go first here?
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so I was asleep. I was just minding my own business. I had woken up a little bit later, but I got a call. And I was not surprised, but I was a little bit shook from it. It did tell me a lot. It told me everything I needed to know about what we're doing here with Ron Rivera.
I kind of along the same lines. I feel bad for Dwayne Haskins, but I wasn't completely shocked when I heard it. I was live on Twitter while I was scrolling along in my morning, and I was like, oh my God, there's a tweet about Dwayne Haskins getting benched. Oh my God, there are all the tweets about it. And then when he's now the third string, Kyle Allen and Alex Smith and Dwayne's going to be inactive for the game against the Rams, that part threw me. So I was like, okay, yeah, something's going on here.
That I think is a whole thing in itself. We'll get to Alex Smith in a second because he's one snap away from playing. So I found out via so living in LA, it's a benefit, not a benefit to wake up at 9 and it really be 12. So all the news happened. I woke up and my text message from my college buddies was renamed RIP Haskins career. Because they like making fun of me for being a Washington fan. So I go, why would that be renamed that? And then I was reading the text and it didn't really say the news. And then of course I look at Twitter and I saw like a meme or something and I was like, oh. And then I saw, like we just said, he's third string. He's not backup. And we'll get to some of Rivera's comments in a sec, but man, I don't know if he's going to play again this season. I don't know. Joe, do you think he's going to play again this season? I don't.
Well, after the last day and a half, I don't think so, because not only has he not gotten the job anymore, he got demoted, but he also has been unfollowing the entire team on Twitter and social media. And this is exactly what we were just talking about, like last week. So I don't know. It's not looking good.
No, it is messy in Washington right now. That's exactly what they're talking about. You know, he's immature. He needs to grow up. He needs to do certain things to become a starting QB and a franchise QB. And unfollowing the entire team on Instagram and Twitter is not the way to prove that you are mature and can handle this position. Right. So he straight up proved to everyone correct, which I feel bad. But then again, come on, who is your team on your side to tell you, don't do that, stop it, get off social media, like you said, Joe, it's time.
Right. And the other thing is they can track the hours he's putting in on the film, I guess, and he's not putting in more film work than the other guys. So you're a first round pick, be accountable. That's all we ask. I mean, it's DC quarterback. It's the toughest job in DC, and you're failing miserably. And now let's see what Kyle Allen has, because obviously Dwayne, eased up when he got the job. So
yeah, and I think yeah.
What was that?
What'd you say?
I said it's the toughest job to keep too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and off of that, so he was on social media. His agent went off and listen. David Mulugeta is the most popular agent probably in the NFL right now. He's getting everybody paid. He's getting, what's his face in Houston? Deshaun Watson just got $160 million. David Mulugeta is clearly a good agent at getting people paid. He needs to not tweet. And what was talked about on the radio is if Haskins didn't want that out there, he would have deleted that tweet. So people are saying Haskins either asked him to tweet that or was totally fine with him tweeting that. And I think we always had in our back of our head as Washington fans, I think Haskins is a little immature. He's very in the social media game. He wants to show off how much weight he lost and him working, and that's great and all. But it seems like his immaturity hasn't really gone too far. I wasn't even that mad at the selfie thing last year. He took a selfie and he missed a snap. I was like, it was his first win. It wasn't a huge deal to me, but these leaks now are already happening. It's like what they say, like same car, new driver. But it's like I don't know who's leaking this stuff, but yeah, like as Joe referenced, he's apparently not working hard enough, and now he's another storybook of Washington quarterbacks, and I think what is it 30 quarterbacks since 1993. 30.
Yeah.
23 since Dan Snyder's taken over.
You know, he had a choice, right, to play well. And, okay, he didn't play well. But after he got benched, he had a choice to pretty much, like, compartmentalize everything that's going on and, you know, take it on the chin and work hard every day, come in, study, soak it all in, watch from the sideline, come back better, right? That's what we saw Kirk Cousins do. You know, when he was benched, he got put in spot situations, did terrible, you know, learned, came back. I think he was making what, like 400 to 600K a year. For us, that's a lot, but for him, it was nothing for NFL. Comes back. I think he made like 18 mil, 20 mil, 24 mil, 30 mil, 30 mil. Like that's what hard work does. So Haskins shot himself in the foot, unfollowed all his teammates, did exactly the opposite of what Kirk Cousins pretty much did in the same situation. And now you're seeing the other side of what happens when a quarterback doesn't buy into what the coach is telling him to do.
Well, and you were speaking about, like, you know, before all this, like how you can handle this season going and being sat down, being like, hey, you have to get better, you're going to get benched. And apparently Grant Paulson from The Fan actually just reported that people in the locker room overheard Dwayne after the Ravens loss, you know, mouthing off that he threw for over 300 yards and what a great game he had and how awesome he was. And did you see his stat lines and the way he was jumping around after a loss? And the team's like, dude, we all worked really hard to try to stay in a game with the Ravens and we lost. Don't jump around and act all happy just because you did okay throwing 300 yards. You didn't throw a touchdown. You didn't win the game for us. Don't jump around unless you're doing that.
Yeah.
I apologize for just fidgeting around a lot. My mic was on a weird setting where you could hear everything in my room and not just my voice. So I apologize for that. Now I'm good. But yeah, Ron Rivera actually was asked about those comments by his agent, which I just referenced. And he straight up said, well, Kyle Allen has the same supporting cast, so let's see what he does. So it's going to look real bad if Kyle Allen goes out and throws 3 touchdowns. And by the way, Kyle Allen last year started out, I think, when he took over 4-0. And he had some good moments, and then kind of stuff caught up with him, showing why he wasn't a highly drafted. I don't know, he was undrafted. He was an undrafted quarterback. But this kind of goes to the bigger issue. We hope Kyle Allen does well, but his backup is Alex Smith. Infamously, basically almost lost his life and then leg. Did you see Project 11, Savannah?
Yeah, I did.
That was hard to watch for many reasons. But he's one snap away. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's setting up for him to take over. I think Rivera's like, oh, it's game by game with Kyle Allen. Meaning you play bad like a couple weeks in a row, or maybe even just this week, say he goes out and throws 3 picks or whatever. Alex Smith's going to be starting very soon, and that's going to be a very cool moment, but also kind of terrifying. Because I've talked to everybody I've talked to about this with, says the same thing. I do not want to see him take a snap because they're terrified of that happening again. I don't know.
Say we're 10 games in though, right? Say we're like 4-6. Say the Skins or the team is 4-6. Kyle Allen goes down. Alex Smith walks in. This team will be so juiced up to block for Alex Smith, to catch for Alex Smith, to run hard for Alex Smith, get the other offense off the field for Alex Smith. Like, this team is going to take another step up if he gets that opportunity, though. You have to think of it like that as well, because if he is healthy, he could do some things for this team.
All I know is that I was at the game that Alex Smith broke his leg, and it was one of those moments. I'm sitting in the press box, and their injuries happen all the time. You know, press box is a little quiet, still some whispers. When Alex Smith got hit, the entire stadium went silent, and all you heard was one person go, "Oh no." And that moment was so bone chilling for me, of like, oh, I've never seen someone get hit like that, get hurt like that. And you knew immediately how serious it was. I'm petrified for him that he's going to step on that field and someone is going to hit him the wrong way. He's going to land funny. And that's the end of, he might not be able to walk for what? For football? Some things are bigger than football. And I'm so afraid for him.
No.
Yeah, he worked so hard to just get back to like playing with his kids, like that, like, and he talked about that. And he wanted to do that, but I saw his interview with Scott Van Pelt from April. I think he basically said, "No, I want to prove to myself that I can play again." So I'm not going to tell him he can't, but I'm still going to be like, every time he drops back and gets hit, I'm gonna be like, "Ooh, like don't." But I remember I was actually in Virginia watching in my basement, and I remember when he went down, I immediately said, "Oh, he just tore his ACL." I was like, he's down. I was like, he got hit in the knee wrong way. And then they showed the replay and I was like, oh, that's disgusting. I see a bone. And then the craziest stat is he did the same injury on the same day of Joe Theismann. That is the craziest stat I'll ever hear. I don't care what stats are, like to have the same injury, same day, month, day, what was it, 30 something years? 33 years to the day. That's wild to me. But if he does, it'll be like this weird rooting interest to me. It's like, man, like this could be like a storybook, like kind of ride, which every time that Joe knows this, every time the Redskins / Washington football team have made the playoffs, they've only done it on winning streaks.
And it's only been a great story too.
They've never just been good. They've been like 3-6 with Robert Griffin. They won 7 straight games. Kirk Cousins won 4 straight games. Todd Collins came in for Jason Campbell and won 4 straight games. Mark Brunell and them won 5 straight games. It's never been just a normal, hey, we're good. It's just, it has to be some weird magic and then nothing happens. But yeah, so then, we go into like the fallout from this is what do they do now in 2021? If Dwayne Haskins is done, which I think he is, do they draft?
What would you do right now with Haskins is the first question, right?
Well, shoot. I mean, maybe they try to trade him. Maybe they just say, hey, before the trade deadline, which I think is week 6.
Who's picking that up, though?
Who wants him for a 7th? Like,
this guy just unfollowed the head coach.
I don't know why players do that. Allen Robinson unfollowed the Bears like for a half second. And I was like, okay, I'll refollow them. It makes no sense. Or when they wipe their social media. Jalen Ramsey did that. Speaking of the Rams, Jalen Ramsey hit the team colors off his thing. He wiped all Ram stuff, and then he got a contract extension. So, but with Dwayne Haskins, he's just like a pissed, immature 22-year-old or whatever he is. And
So you'd see what's on the market first.
I would try to.
Let him go.
I think Rivera straight up lied. He straight up lied, saying we're going to try to develop. And then he says we're going to try to win the division because it sucks. Like that, it's kind of a weird 180. It's like he literally said in the press conference, these games we have coming up, translated, these games are a little easier, so we're going to try to give it to Kyle Allen, who knows the system, meaning Dwayne Haskins is not even good enough to do that. So, and listen, he got drafted by Jay Gruden, who didn't want him. He got – and who knows if that's true. I mean, I know – we've heard on the radio, people are connected. They say basically Dan Snyder made Jay Gruden draft him. And then basically they traded up for Montez Sweat to throw the coaching staff a bone and be like, okay, you got one of your guys. And then Ron Rivera comes in and probably doesn't want him. He's probably like, I don't think he's that good. And now you got to go through this weird season. And you have a guy like Alex Smith, who, if he is healthy, is probably the best quarterback by a wide margin on that roster. So
Savannah, what would you do?
Oh, gosh. So my main worry with Dwayne Haskins now is he already was in a weird mental state, I think, before this. And now this is just like such a blow to his ego, which he needed a little bit of his ego kind of being squished. But this is like, I think his confidence is shot. I don't know how good he's going to be a quarterback, how good he was before, but how much better he's going to be as a quarterback anywhere. Like you said, who's going to pick that up? No one. And especially now, if you're seeing what he's putting out there, and if he's going to be all not confident, his ego is going to be very small, and you need to have a little bit of an ego to play quarterback. So I don't think they're going to get anything for him. So I don't think a trade's on the table at all.
Yeah, I would literally just say, hey, conditional 7th rounder, because remember McNabb, who was a total train wreck here, he got traded for a 6th rounder. That 6th rounder ended up being Alfred Morris. So you never No. I'll segue right now to
I just want to say I'm cutting him if I'm in charge. I didn't ever say my opinion. I'm going to cut him. I think they should do that like next week, but that's just me. Anyways, good transition.
Very aggressive. I was going to say we can segue to some fan responses we got on our Instagram story. And this is a very polarizing topic because there's a lot of people who want him to do well. And just, I think, and Joe can probably attest to this, Savannah, you probably have known a bunch of Washington fans like this. They just want a good quarterback so bad. They almost brainwash themselves into saying, no, just give him a chance. I'm like, if I did that with Robert Griffin, and then I said, wait a second, this guy just can't read a defense and he can't run anymore. So, and then I said, no, he's not good. I'm not going to argue with you. Kirk Cousins was a better quarterback. And then now with Dwayne Haskins, I still think he's talented. I think he's just super immature. I think that's kind of showing more and more. And I'm glad he got in shape and stuff. But
just circle back around though, like the reason that the people were hesitant was probably because of the immaturity, right? Like it wasn't, football, he could grow into some things, but the elephant in the room is nobody wanted to draft him because he's immature.
Also, Savannah, you brought up the report that he was kind of touting his stats and stuff. And so if that's true, that's not good. The other thing that's not good is the agent tweet that probably didn't go well with anybody because that threw his whole team under the bus. And then so people who aren't represented by him are like, hey, like you can't tell your agent, you can't, like they knew what I kind of insinuated was Dwayne Haskins knew that tweet was going out. So it doesn't look good, and it's a good way to lose the locker room. And he's a captain too, which kind of shocks me if this is how that's all happens. But let's go to some fan responses. So the response or the question was that Savannah posed on our story was, what are your thoughts? Haskins out, Allen in. Iceman237 said, that's a great name. Whatever works for the team, in all caps. We're tired of losing, all caps. I don't think it's personal, win, in all caps. Team. Hashtag tank for Trevor for Sean.xxii. We talked about Trevor Lawrence last week. If we get the number 1 pick, we'll probably take him. But I don't know. What else do we got here?
I like Big Baby's response. If you win some more games than Haskins, then good. If not, then whatever, right? So, I agree.
That is the most DC fan response. We talked about it in episode 1 where I was like, you know what? If it's happening, it's great. It's awesome. And if not, blow it up. We hate everything. That is the perfect response.
I'm telling you, it's this team is a microcosm. You can pick any example. It's just like, yep. Haskins got absolutely screwed, but Allen has a chance, has an opportunity to take off. That's from DC Trucker 70. He's actually a very frequent replier on our Instagram. So a shout out to him.
Shout out DC Trucker.
That is a very it's like, yeah, he got screwed, but hey, Allen has a chance to take off if he actually knows the system like he does. And I heard stories that actually Scott Turner, the offensive coordinator, loves Kyle Allen. So that
clearly.
I saw a guy in all caps, Niz_Sig said, time to get mobile. I guess,
Allen likes to move around a little bit more than Haskins. So it's,
the Dark Archer said, they should have picked up Colin Kaepernick. You knew one of those was going to get thrown in there. I don't think that's the move at the moment. Allen is the better quarterback. A lot of fans like to deny that, kind of what I said. I think they brainwashed themselves and they really want Haskins to succeed and just saying, you know what, there might be a better option. Didn't want him. Jay didn't want him last year. Tough spot. Yep. What will this mean for Terry when we'll see more production from him and Gibson? I think they'll still get their share. Haskins back, please. And then somebody just replied, stupid.
Well, I want to go back to what will Terry and Gibson's production be from 1K Colin, 1K.com. Thank you for chiming in. I think that it'll actually help Terry and Gibson more, right? Because they're going to get more opportunities. Haskins wasn't throwing down the field. We saw multiple screen grabs on Twitter this week of Terry kind of streaking downfield wide open, not getting the ball thrown to him. So hopefully that we can get some more big chunk gains over the next few weeks, but you never know. I mean, the O-line is, like we said, pretty cheeks. So we just don't know how it's going to go, but I'm pretty sure Allen's going to take some more chances. right?
Sorry, that goes to our cheeks counter, I guess. Joe, can you do something real quick without looking at the list? Could you name the last 15 quarterbacks?
Man, you're putting me on the spot.
Like
I didn't even really look at that list.
Starting with Kyle Allen.
Kyle, Dwayne, before Dwayne, Keenum, McCoy. I don't know which order.
You know, it doesn't have to go in order. You just can grab them.
Oh, I can just name them?
Yeah, okay. I mean, try to go backwards, but
Keenum, McCoy, Smith, Kirk, RG3. There's somebody in between there.
You're missing two. You're missing two in recent memory that played for a half second.
Oh, Mark Sanchez and Josh Johnson.
Yep.
Is that both of them? Okay, cool.
So you got up to Robert Griffin.
Donovan McNabb. Guys, we have about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb. Okay.
Speed round.
Jason Campbell, Rex Grossman, Mark Brunell, Patrick Ramsey, Todd Collins. How many is that? No, I swear I'm not. How many is
you're
that?
at 15. You did it.
15. Wow, okay.
Just finish it off.
I'm an old fan.
Tim Hasback, Patrick Ramsey, Danny Werfel, Shane Matthews, Tony Banks, Jeff George, Brad Johnson, Trent Green, Jeff Hostetler, Gus Farrat, Heath Schuler, John Freeze, I don't even know who that is, Rich Gannon, Gary Conklin, and Mark Rippon. Shout out Mark Rippon. Brett Rippon made his debut, did not go too hot, but he did look decent. He did look okay for a little bit, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, and we'll find out. It's going to be fun. I think this is going to be one of a highly tuned in game for Washington fans. Just
real quick, 30 seconds. Score prediction for the team versus Rams.
Oh yeah, we can't even get into a preview. We have no time for that. It was all Haskins.
We have no time, so just have to do a fast preview.
Oh, they struggled against the Giants.
27-17 Rams.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to score 27. I think the Washington defense is actually not that bad.
30 seconds. Go.
Okay, 21-17 Washington football team.
Ooh.
23-20 Washington. I'm being optimistic today.
Okay, man.
All right, here we're going to expedite this next part real fast. Okay. I can take the lead on this. Washington Capitals had their draft. NHL, by the way, I literally had no idea that was going on. I just happened to tune in like right before the Capitals pick. They drafted a guy named Hendrix Lapierre. By the way, Hendrix is a sweet first name with an X. Hendrix Lapierre, French-Canadian. Apparently was a top 10 talent. They got him at 22, so that's pretty cool. They re-signed Brendan Dillon. Kempney's out 6 to 8 months. That's bad. They signed Hendrik Lundqvist, which is kind of cool. 15-year New York Ranger, killed the Capitals many, many times. They also signed Justin Schultz today, I think, from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Savannah, you're probably familiar with that. And also, this is a pin in this one because I thought this was kind of cool, but now we can't talk about it. The Washington football team actually tweeted out a thing you could go to the uniform poll they did. I don't know if you guys saw this. So they took fan edits and stuff. By the way, none of ours were featured, which is kind of a little sketchy. But yeah, Joe, I can see the time. It's on my computer too.
Feels like a producer. I appreciate it.
7 minutes. But 80. So one of the options was wolves, not red wolves, just wolves. Wolves, red tails, seals. I think after Navy SEALs, and then something else. The winning thing, not surprisingly, was wolves at 85%. So that was a little wild. That was pretty cool. I think we can talk about that whole process, like how the DCXP was involved with all those uniforms. We can talk about that maybe next time. But that's all the DC talk we got with all that stuff. Some national sports. Savannah's not happy that the Marlins lost. The Astros won. The Braves swept. So the Braves will play the Dodgers, which is a little tough for me because I really don't like Dodger fans. But I work with a couple, so I guess they can have their. They did lose to the Astros in the World Series. So. Yeah.
No, I hate baseball again. I was just really getting into the sport, and now they've broken my heart with a Marlins loss and an Astros win. How can they do it to me year after year?
I know. I know.
We're really gearing up for
Bull.
we're really gearing up for the Astros to just piss everybody off in 2020. So I was gonna give a Masked Singer power rankings, but I didn't get to thoroughly review the tape on that one, so that's gonna have to wait.
I was so looking forward to that.
I was looking forward to it too, but this Haskins stuff kind of consumed me, and I just never got to kind of go back and watch all the singing and do my. But that will be on the next podcast for show. That is for show.
Show, getting that for show.
Joe, that gives you so much time to go review tape as well. I'm expecting a Mike and Joe power ranking.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and then the other thing was, the Russian hockey player, Russian politician thing. You can put that to next week.
We'll push that to next week
Because I know Joe didn't even try to look that up. Like I knew that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, I see a Michael Porter note in here, and I think Savannah is just 1 week late on knowing who Michael Porter was.
Yeah, who would have known he goes out with a Bachelorette star a week after I get quizzed on who he is? Now I've seen his picture like 6 different angles.
Everywhere.
Who he is.
Here's the thing.
That's awesome.
You got that right though, right? You guessed him as a basketball player.
I did. I got it right.
That would have been funny if he was the one you got wrong.
I know. I would have been so upset.
That would have been great. So yeah. The other thing was I'm almost positive Joe put this one in. Tory Lane's charged with shooting Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. No,
I remember this story from like a couple months ago, and I thought it was like debunked, but I guess it's not.
Yeah, no, he's facing like 22, almost 23 years in prison. It's still under investigation from the LA Police Department. She says she at first was too afraid to tell the police that she had been shot, fearing another police shooting. But yeah, no, he says, I swear she's lying. It's not real. So, and then, she says, you shot me, got your publicist, tell these people, and all these blogs are lying. So, but they're both saying everyone's lying. I don't know how it's going to end up. Still under investigation. Kind of a nice little
Can we talk about
into the weekend?
Can we talk about a couple of facts about Tory Lanez real quick? He is 5'3". Apparently, on the police report, I think he's listed as 5'3". Nothing against short guys, but his name is Daystar.
Daystar, yeah.
Daystar.
Peterson.
But he has like 2 weird, like kind of funky middle names too. He's like of Barbados descent. Dude, if your name's Daystar, why are you naming your rap name Tory Lanez? His name should be Daystar. That is
I think so.
Natural, like Daystar Peterson, just
name.
Daystar P. That could be your name. Like Daystar, that's such a cool name. That's like on my list
That's
of.
a great name.
That goes on the list of potential kid names for me, like already.
Had you done this last week? Because I have no idea who Tory Lanez is. It's just like beyond me. If you would have been like,
barely know who he is, actually.
Tory Lanez, is that a rapper or basketball player? I'd be like, yeah, basketball player, cool. And you'd be like, no, his real name is Daystar. I'd be like, no, it's not. Like, it's a
That
lot.
would have been a good one if I didn't think of that. If I knew that, I would have said Daystar Peterson, and you would have had to guess rapper or
We should have done more research on the basketball names, yeah. Or rapper versus basketball.
But wow, so is there anything else? Because yeah, this got, like we said, Haskins really put a dent in this one.
Well, I just, I hope the best for him. I truly don't hate him. I know I probably come off as a big hater, but it's just unfortunate,
Real
I
quick,
hope
I was gonna say we have less than a minute. Predictions for Kyle Allen's stat line: yards, touchdowns, interceptions.
1 touchdown, 1 interception, 309 yards.
Ooh.
9 yards. Okay, I'll say 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 fumble, and 285 yards passing. 60 yards rushing. Big day.
Okay, 2-2. So 2-2, and then 271. Somehow, if that's the case.
We're playing Price is Right, so whoever's closest about going over.
We'll do that.
Closest gets $1 million.
Okay, Zoom's about to kick us off. So I hope you enjoy that episode. We'll be back next week after the game. It'll be an interesting topic to see how Kyle Allen played. Maybe Alex Smith gets in the game. We don't know, but thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.